Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a video on makeup products that I will literally always repurchase. And in order to qualify for this little selection of curated products, it had to be products that I have repurchased at least a minimum of twice. But you'll see as we get through these, I've repurchased a lot of these more than twice. And it actually got me thinking I could definitely do a part 2 on this video because there were more than this that are like constant repurchases and products that I actually use up to their entirety. And I always find these videos really interesting. I love knowing like what people are actually using up and having to repurchase because they like it that much or the product just works that well for them. And while I speak about these products, I will also be doing demos so you can kind of get a little bit more of a vibe for why I like them, how they apply, what they look like on my skin, and all of that. Starting off with this little duo right here, I know you guys have seen me talk about these so many times. We've got the iconic London Blurring Underglow Primer and then the iconic London Prep Set Glow Mist. This one's just in the original shade. I do also really enjoy the bronze shade as well. I use them together pretty much every single time I do my makeup. What I love so much about the Underglow Blurring Primer is that it's a hybrid between a blurring primer and a serum primer. I feel like you guys know this by now. Serum makeup primers are my absolute favorite makeup primers ever. I think that if you have a dry skin type, they are best utilized for a dry skin type because they're not going to create a mask-like effect like some other primers do, especially if they tend to lean into that blurring territory. The serum primer is more easily and readily absorbed into the base so that you're left with more of a plush, bouncy appearance to the skin. And they just tend to make all the products that you apply on top of them blend into the skin like butter. So that's why I love that. It's got that serum formula to it, but then it also has a little bit of a powder to the formula, so it actually does provide a very natural amount of blurring where it doesn't look heavy or too thick on the skin, and it doesn't completely mattify. And then there's also pearl in it, so it already gives you that luminous radiant glow. So it's really like a triple threat in my opinion. Really great for dull, dry, or slightly normal skin types. I don't necessarily know if an oily skin type would love this as much as I do, but it really does it all. And a lot of times when I'm using this, I'll just skip out on illuminator. If I want the base to be really, really glowy, I will use illuminator. But for the most part, this is just kind of like a one-stop shop. It's a really great primer. It plays perfectly with everything that I pair it with. There is literally nothing that I've tried to use this with that I didn't like it. Even on days where I'm not really wearing that much makeup, if I'm just gonna do a little bit of concealer or like a tinted SPF, this gives the skin enough radiance and bounce back that my skin looks really nice and healthy, and it does do some magical things for blurring. I've got kind of a little bit of a crazy eczema flare up around my mouth right now, and this doesn't cling to the eczema or make it more apparent when I put makeup on top of it. So the Underglow Blurring Primer still remains elite, and I love the lightweight formula of this. Like if you have dull skin like I do, I really think that that makes my complexion look so much better. And then the same goes for the Prep Set Glow Mist. What I love about this is that you can see it's got pearl to it. So this does reflect on the skin in a shimmery pearl way, but it's not a glittery pearl. I know that sometimes when you're using shimmering mists, a lot of times they almost look like chunky flecks of glitter on the skin. I never have that issue with this one. The bronze one, if you want like a little bit more color to the skin, although there's not that much difference in the way that they actually both look on the skin. I like them both, but this is the one that I'll always repurchase because it just performs really well with the way I typically do my makeup. Truly gives you that angelic glow to the skin. It just puts a really nice feather-like kiss of the pearl on the skin, and most days when I'm wearing this, I just don't even wear any other highlight. I'll do a little bit on the nose, but this makes it so that the high points of the face will reflect backlight, and you do have that really nice, soft, ethereal light on the skin where it's not overly pearlized, it's not overly highlighted, it doesn't look like too much. I also find it to do a really good job at taking away from any parts of the complexion that are looking a little bit over powdered. So that's something that I don't like when my skin looks over powdered. I feel like it looks too makeup-y at that point. And I love how this just adds a little bit more moisture and hydration back into the base and really makes the makeup look more marinated, like you've had it on for a little bit more time, just like it's fully become seamless and meshed with your own natural skin. And I just feel like the glow that it gives, I've never found anything that's like exactly like it. And I also really like how this doesn't make the skin sticky, so it doesn't transform the finish or the set down of my makeup to where I feel like it's wearing down quicker. I just feel like this is a major favorite for so many years because it does all the things that I want it to do. And like these two together, I feel like I always get my dream complexion, even when I'm trying new products. Regardless of what I pair with these two products, I know it's gonna make everything look exactly the way I want. Next up, we have my beloved Chanel Water Fresh tint. Now, I prefer the original Chanel Water Fresh tint in comparison to the Le Beige Complexion Touch. This one's great if you want a little bit more coverage, but if you like something super natural, I would just recommend to go with the original Water Fresh tint. It's perfect the way that it is. But if I'm having a little bit more of a finicky skin day, then perhaps, yes, I would reach for this. But even then so, I feel like this is the most ideal complexion product ever. I feel like this really bends the line between being able to look completely undetectable on the skin to a light tinted moisturizer. So that's what I love about it. And it provides my skin with enough coverage that I even wear it for special events. Like if I don't want anything too full coverage, I will comfortably wear this. I feel like I get just enough. And the thing that I love about the Chanel so much is that the shade matches. I have 3 shade matches depending on the time of year. Right now I'm using the shade medium deep. It matches me so perfectly, and I have so much trust in this product. Although it's not the most full coverage or marketed to be the most long wearing product, I will wear this in the humid, hot months, and I don't have issues with this wearing off quicker, and I don't feel like it fades off of the skin patchy. I think it wears down really gracefully throughout the day, where it just slowly loses coverage by the end of the night. But I can get a solid 8+ hours wear out of it. But on that note, it also does mix really nice with Complexion Touch if you wanted to give this a little bit more coverage. But it's just the prettiest. I feel like every time I wear it, I feel really confident. I feel like my skin doesn't look overly made up. There is a reason I always go back to it, and I feel like it's because every time I wear it, I love the way my skin looks. And like I said, I'm wearing this on as like my base coverage today, and I've got a little bit of spot concealing, but around my nose and mouth right now, I've got a lot of redness and irritation, and I feel like this did such a good job at kind of hiding it. And also because it's an eczema flare, but it's a little bit flaky, and it's not emphasizing the dry patches or the flakiness of it either. So love this. Like I said, if you tend to go for like a little bit more of a softer, more natural amount of coverage, that's who I would recommend Water Fresh Tint to. But if you like a little bit more coverage, or you want to wear it more so for special occasions or longer periods of the day, I would recommend going with Complexion Touch. Seriously, Water Fresh Tint and a little bit of spot concealing, I feel like it's such a yummy, like natural, gorgeous, soft complexion look. It's not ever overdone. It's not ever too much. And I love how both of those set down to more of a soft powder finish. They're not completely dewy, they're not tacky. I love the way that they set down to the skin, so you don't have to set it down with a ton of powder. It doesn't slip and slide and migrate on the skin throughout the day. It just really has a unique, almost like watercolor effect to the skin, where it dries down and it provides like a tint or a filtered veil of coverage, but it never looks like makeup on me, and that's why I lean into it so much, and that's why I love it so much. It's just beautiful in person. Now, picking a proper foundation for this roundup was slightly difficult because I really debated between Armani Luminous Silk and the Chantecaille Future Skin, but I feel like for right now, perhaps it would change with the season. And it's difficult because, like I said, I can do a part 2, and Armani Luminous Silk would definitely be in there. But with the Chantecaille Future Skin, I love how lightweight this is, and it is a gel formula. It's a foundation that I think I've repurchased 3 times now. I think this is like my 3rd or 4th, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, this is definitely one of those foundations where it really mimics your skin's texture because it's a gel formula, which is my absolute favorite of all foundations. I'll always pick a gel over anything else. I love the way it looks like your own skin, and the coverage can so easily be added onto problem areas, darkness, hyperpigmentation, discoloration. I didn't even watch Euphoria, but I was always taken back by the imagery or the videos that I was seeing of the actresses on Euphoria, and the skin was just impeccable. It always looked very touchable, very realistic. Like, it didn't look overdone. And when I found out it was Chantecaille Future Skin, that's really what drew me in. And I swear to you, from the first time I used Future Skin, I have not been able to put it down. Every time I'm running low, I repurchase. It's a product that I gladly use up to its entirety because I really lean on this on days where my skin is more on the finicky side, and you know, I don't want it to look too overdone. It looks really nice on camera as well. I love wearing this when I'm like filming it just always looks like my skin, but never too overdone. And like I said, it's that gel, you guys. Gel formula foundations will always win me over, but they always tend to look the best in person from my experience personally, especially if you have, like I said, I know I say it all the time, but if you are more on the dull side, a gel not only looks like your own skin, but it gives your dull, dried skin a little bit more of that healthy, moisturized look. So it pairs really beautifully with skincare. I've also found, just through testing all the products that I try, gel foundations are the easiest to apply. They're oftentimes the quickest to apply. They're oftentimes the best looking in natural light. And I like how you can use a multitude of different tools when applying a gel foundation, all the way from your fingertips to a sponge to different brushes. And it always manages to look like your own skin. So I think there is something extra special about Chantecaille Future Skin, and that's why I'm always, you know, drawn back to it, and it looks really great in person. It's never like too overdone. And then of course, I feel like you guys know this was coming, the Kosas Revealer Concealer. I am obsessed with this concealer. It remains my favorite, most used, and most repurchased concealer of all time. Again, this is a concealer that I think I tried back when Kosas first released it, but also you guys remember it came out with the Kosas Revealer Foundation, which I do love, but there is something about the concealer that is so much better than the foundation that I will wear the concealer as foundation. I'm sure if you guys watched my what I keep in my everyday makeup bag, you saw I have a shade for literally everything, and that is because oftentimes if I don't feel like doing any type of base product, I will just do sunscreen and some Kosas Revealer concealer. It's moisturizing. It feels more like an eye cream than an actual makeup product. It's something that I can literally apply in a dimly lit bathroom really quick, just pop it underneath the eyes, tap, 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 tap. I also feel like because my under eyes are so dry, I lean into the Kosas Revealer concealer, especially for the under eyes, but you know, I like to use it all over the face, highlighting, you know, covering up issues, and then also brightening the skin underneath the eyes. And it's beautiful. It's radiant without being luminous because it has a little bit more of a shiny set down. And sometimes I wear powder with it and sometimes I don't. I love the Kosas Revealer Concealer. This next product, I know for a fact I've repurchased 5 times because I checked my Sephora app. This is the Makeup by Mario Self Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. It's an all-over warming complexion tint. I have this one in the shade dark. I also like the shade medium and medium dark, depending on my skin tone. This is a sheer coverage bronzing balm, but it can also be built up to get more coverage depending on the type of intensity that you like or how dramatic of a bronze that you like. I love this product so much, and I feel like my face most of the time doesn't look done unless I have a little bit of this on. Even if it's not like the main bronzer that I'm wearing, a little touch of this really goes a long way. Really don't say that as an exaggeration because I use this a bunch of different ways. So one of my favorite ways to use it is for an underpainting situation. If I'm gonna be going for a more light coverage look, I will use this as the first layer of makeup and then work around it, doing like your typical underpainting type of routine. Or I will use this as an all-over warming for the complexion. So like literally from forehead to chin, it really just adds a little bit of that tan look to the complexion. And there's a teeny tiny little bit of shimmer to it. So it does have a little bit of a more luminous finish, and it's really nice and dewy, but not too sticky. Or I use this as my cream bronzer for the day, and I will oftentimes not set it with powder bronzer, but sometimes I do set it with powder bronzer. It just kind of depends if I'm really focused on longevity. If it's not set with powder, it's not as long lasting. I think you'll get a couple hours wear, anywhere between like 3 to 5 maybe, but if you really want to extend past that, I would definitely recommend setting with powder so that you can really increase the longevity. Again, there's just something about this that I feel like always hits the nail on the head for me and the way I want my complexion to look. It's really great for someone who likes a bronze that looks like actual tanned skin, and perhaps you want something that's a little bit more on the radiant creamy side. I think you'd really like it. What I like about it is the customizable intensity. So I can, like I said, kind of sheer it out and use a really small amount of product just to get a little bit of kiss of color, or I can build it up to get more of like a full-on bronze moment. It's also really nice because this has it's a cream, but a lot of times I feel like cream bronzers are honestly like a little bit more on the clay side of formula. With this, I feel like it's a true balm. So because of that, a really small amount of product stretches really far across the skin. It's not quite as thick as some other cream bronzers, and I use it differently than cream bronzer. So I love that about it, and I think it's so customizable, and I really think if you are someone who likes to play around with the intensity of your bronzer, it's really great to have in your collection. I feel like you'd use it more than you think. I know I definitely do. I didn't think it was gonna be something I was gonna utilize as much as I do, but not an exaggeration to say that I consistently hit pan on this. I consistently use it up, and it's just one of my favorite products. I feel like it's great for every day, but it's also great for special occasions. Now, my favorite contour, this one's really special. This is the Westman Atelier Face Trace Contour Stick. We are actually on contour stick number 3. Okay, so there is the tone of this, which makes it the absolute best. I use the shade Truffle. There's also Biscuit, which is significantly more cool toned. It's also more suited for light skin tones. What I like about Truffle is it's a true neutral on my skin tone, and I feel like a lot of times I know that people, when they're contouring, you want to use something that's very cool toned so that you can mimic a shadow. But I find for the type of contouring I do, I don't really like to use anything that's too cool toned. My skin tone is so warm that oftentimes when I use contours that are too cool, they literally look purple on my skin. Like, they will literally look lavender. It's wild. So I just don't even contour in that sense anymore because it never even looked the way that I wanted to on my skin. So what I like to do is just kind of add a little bit of definition on certain areas, but I'm not really trying to contour. I just like to add dimension and definition back to the areas of the face where I've lost it after I've done foundation or tinted moisturizer, because oftentimes that one layer of shellac, it can honestly make the base look a little bit one-dimensional. So I like to do a little bit on the nose, the eyes, the lips, under the cheeks, and the jaw, but not really in a traditional contour sense. I think what I like to do is more of like a bronzing, like a bronzing contouring type of moment. But I love the shade Truffle. It's been like my favorite contour stick since I've gotten it, and it really is the right tone for my skin tone, because I've even tried, you know, like the Dior contour sticks and the Milk makeup ones, and I feel like a lot of times with contour, they tend to be either way too warm or way too cool. So with Truffle, I'm like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like, just use Truffle, because you know it's gonna look good every time. And even though it's a cream, it sets down to more of a powdered finish on the skin. So I don't feel like it needs to be set with powder every single time. It's got great longevity on its own. The pigmentation and intensity is there, so you really don't need to set it with a powder, because you can use the right amount of product to get the intensity that you want. Just a lovely product. I love you, Westman Atelier Face Trace. I can't even tell you how many years I have been using this or how many times I've recommended it. It has the iconic larger than life wand. I mean, it's beautiful. Obviously, this looks a little bit overwhelming, especially if you have a small eye like I do. A brush like this can sometimes be kind of scary, but it does all the work for you and truly makes my eyelashes look like fake eyelashes. I have, you know, thinner eyelashes. They're naturally straight. This holds curl all day, all night. I mean, you can fall asleep with this, you shouldn't, but you can fall asleep with this mascara on. You will wake up the next morning, your eyelashes will still be perked straight up, curled, perfectly separated, wispy, all of that. It really is a mascara that does it all for me. And what I like about this also too is that I can wear it during the daytime and just get more of like a natural, you know, like a little bit of a fluttery look, but I can also really pile it on top of itself at night, and it pairs well with a smoky eye because it can really hold its own and it can build up on top of itself, get super wispy, super full on like film noir strip lash effect on the lashes. And you guys know this, it's Dior Beauty, it's prestige. The price point is more expensive, but it is justified in the results and by how many times I repurchased it and by how much I love this mascara. And you guys know me, I definitely think that you can find really amazing mascaras from the drugstore, and I have so many favorites of mascara from the drugstore, but there is a reason that I always have this ready to go because I wear it just as much as some of my favorite drugstore mascaras. And if I'm going to any type of special event or I really want my lashes to look like falsies, I always reach for this. It's just one of those mascaras that I feel like is genuinely worth the splurge. It's a mascara that I recommend to everyone if you are willing to splurge a little bit more on a mascara. This is the one that I am like, there's something magical about it. Truly looks like strip lashes if you really build it up, but also you can wear it nice and natural for day to day. One lip liner that I feel like I've definitely been using for multiple years, and I've repurchased this so many times, I don't even know how many times it's been at this point. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in Iconic Nude. A gorgeous overlining shade, and Charlotte's lip cheats, I think these still remain pretty classic in my opinion, and Iconic Nude especially. It's one of those ones where I've not been able to find the exact dupe, and what I love so much about the Charlotte Tilbury lip pencils is that they last. So these are that iconic waterproof formula. You can pair them with glosses, lip tints, lip stains. It's gonna last so much longer than your typical lip liner because once these dry down, they really do set in place and they stay put a lot longer than other lip liners. Iconic Nude also, even though I have so many other favorite nude lip pencils that I'm loving right now, there is always something about Iconic Nude. It's like, if I don't know what's gonna look good with a new lip color, or I just want a lip liner that I know I can use for overlining my lips and pair with pretty much anything, it's always Iconic Nude. Like, this is the lip liner that I feel like is always living in my purse or always in my everyday lip liner cup that I keep off to the side of me, because I know it's gonna look good with everything and it mimics a natural lip line really nicely. So you can definitely do some lip cheating and overlining the sides of your lips with it. But Iconic Nude, it's great. And out of all the Charlotte Tilbury ones, Iconic Nude is the one that I think is the most versatile, and it's just been such a go-to and a staple in my makeup routine for so many years now. Okay, I just did a restock on these. These are the Givenchy Rose Perfecto liquid lip balms. We have number 210, 110, and 109 right here. These are like the most beautiful lip product. If you like something that has the hydration and moisturization of a lip balm, the color of a lip tint, it's a little bit more coverage than a typical lip tint. It's not as full on as a lipstick though, and they are so shiny and so lightweight. They give you the shine of a gloss, but they do not feel sticky or heavy like a gloss. Honestly, I feel like if you are someone that really likes a lightweight glossy finish, but you do not want any type of stick whatsoever, these are what I would recommend to you. They are beautiful, and you can see they're like swirled with the moisturizing lip product and then the tint. I think I showed this to you in one of my videos. I literally finished this up because I will use every last drop of these. I will take the stopper out and I will scrape every last bit of this color. But 110, I feel like also whenever I'm wearing this, a lot of people ask what it is. It's like the perfect nude. So if you have a skin tone similar to me, I think you would really like 110. I feel like these are one of those lip products where they're overlooked. They're not necessarily like the most exciting, trendy lip products, but I started using these a couple years ago, and 110 has remained like a go-to lip color every day for me. Like, if I had to tell you what I think is my most worn everyday lip color, I'm looking over there too, because I'm like, is there really? I think it's gonna be 110 from Givenchy. I think this is the one that it's always in my purse, always in my pocket. I love it. It's always in my everyday makeup bag too. Like, I think 110 might be my signature lip color, because for a few years it was definitely Charlotte Tilbury Very Victoria. I think that was my like go-to lip for like 2-3 years, and then since then I think it's moved into this, because I really, unless it's like a tinted lip balm, like a true like a peptide lip treatment like the ones from Rhode or Ulla Henriksen, I think in terms of like signature lip color right now, I think we're gonna go with the Givenchy 110. Okay, you guys, that is everything I wanted to mention for today's video. If you have any questions about any of these products, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I will always do my best to help you out and get back to you based on my experience with the products. I would love it so much if you would come follow me on TikTok and on Instagram. I post a lot of other beauty content on those platforms as well. And if you have any specific video requests that you'd really like to see in the near future for a YouTube video, please leave your suggestions down below. I will take note and add them to my filming list. But other than that, I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching this one. Bye, guys.